Hi, welcome to this lesson on Introduction to TinkerCAD. In this lesson and throughout this module, we will be learning the fundamentals of 3D printing and also be gaining an introduction into TinkerCAD 3D printing interface. My name is Mr. Ayo and you're welcome once again to this lesson. This course covers an introduction to TinkerCAD for 3D modeling and printing using the TinkerCAD Web 3D application. For this lesson, our topic is Introduction to TinkerCAD. So learning objectives for this lesson are to define 3D printing, to identify the resources for 3D printing, to mention the use of 3D printing, and then to identify the components of the TinkerCAD interface. So 3D printing is a process of building three-dimensional objects using a computer-aided design, model, and a 3D printer. 3D printing, also called additive manufacturing, is a process of making three-dimensional solid objects from a digital file. 3D printed objects are created using additive processes. In an additive process, an object is created by laying down successive layers of material, one layer at a time, from the bottom upwards. The resources for good 3D printing is to output your model designs. You will need the resources below. However, you can go on with this lesson if you do not intend to print them. Now let's look at some uses of 3D printing. There are many uses of 3D printing. Some of those uses are for making eyeglasses, footwear, plastic cups, and spoons. Also for replicating ancient artifacts. 3D printing is also used for toys and plastic gears. Now this is the TinkerCAD interface. In a short while, we'll be going through that interface and learning about it. TinkerCAD is a 3D modeling platform for creating models for 3D printing. Alright, before we go on, let's take a short quiz. In this our quiz, let's learn and assess our knowledge by answering the following question. So what is 3D printing? A special printer for printing 3D designs is called CAD stands for what? 3D modeling is also called what manufacturing? What web application will be used to design 3D projects in this course? Alright, so to explore TinkerCAD interface from a web browser, we'll visit tinkercad.com/dashboard. So we'll head over there right now. Alright, so let's explore the TinkerCAD interface. To begin, launch a web browser and then type tinkercad.com. Alright, so this is the TinkerCAD dashboard. If you are not logged in, you may need to sign in or join now. So to join in, you can either join in by creating an account or by using your Google ID. Alright, so mine is signed in, so let's just go straight in. So I'll be selecting Create New Design. When you select the Create New Design, it takes you to the portal or the platform where you can start working around the TinkerCAD 3D interface for creating 3D models. So let's select Create New Design. Alright, so this is the TinkerCAD 3D modeling interface. Now let's explore what we have here. To write from the left over to the right, this box is called the 3D view box. By holding down your left click, you are able to move the box at different angles and dimensions. If you notice, while moving the box around, this area called the work plane also moves around. So it gives you different view of what you're creating right on the work plane. So I can choose to view it from the front, from the left, from the bottom, from the top, from the front, from the right, at different angles. So I'll move it back to the top so I can see what I'm creating. Alright, so let's explore the other icons. So this icon is the home icon. Selecting the home icon returns the layout back to the default view. And then this icon is the fit all view icon. So let's say, for example, we've moved our icon at different angles, or we've zoomed in or zoomed out using the zoom icon. When you select the fit all icon, it returns everything back to the statutory size. Alright. Now these other buttons down here is the zoom. This is the zoom in button and this is the zoom out button. With the zoom in button, you're able to zoom in to see the actual size of what you're creating at a much more bigger view, and you're also able to zoom out to see what you're creating at a different view. Now this item down here is called the switch view. Now this switch view is different from the view box. The switch view gives you 3D perspective of your design or orthographic perspective of your design. With the 3D perspective of your design turned on, you're able to see your design at 3D angles. But with the orthographic, it looks more like 2D. Alright, so let's return back to the default size. Very good. So we've learned how and what these tools are used for. Let's explore other tools. Now to explore the other tools here, I'll come over here and explain these tools and use them to relate to these tools right here. So let's come down over to this drop down. Now this drop down menu brings us a tool of different menus and components we can use for creating models in 3D. For example, when the basic shapes is selected, we can see different shapes that can be dragged into the work plane for editing. For example, if I was to drag in the heart into the work plane, I can edit the heart at different angles and with different colors. For example, if I select the solid here, I'm able to give the heart different colors. And then this hole, when it's selected, gives the heart shape a hole in relation to other objects. We'll learn about that when we create some other project. And let's go back to make it solid, a full solid color. Now, from the drop down, we have basic shapes. When you select the drop down, we have text and numbers. If you select text and numbers, we have different alphabets that can be dragged into the work plane. For example, I have letter B on the work plane. And there are others also. We have characters that can be dragged into the work plane and edited. For example, with this you can create spectacles or you can edit it further. And then there are other ones like connectors and Omni Hangout. So these are the basic menus under the drop down menu with which you can create amazing models in 3D. Also, we have the ruler here. When you select it and drag it in, we're able to set dimension and measure the dimension of objects as we create them. So I can dismiss the ruler. Alright, now this is the work plane. Now let's select an object. Okay, I have to the work. I'm taking one out. Alright. Good. So now I have the heart shape right here. Now with the heart shape right here, I'm able to copy the heart shape. When I copy it, I can select anywhere else on this work plane and say Ctrl V to paste another shape. So if I copy this one down, good, I can Ctrl V somewhere else and then have two heart shapes instantly on my work plane. You can also use this icon, which is also the paste icon, or you can use duplicate and repeat. When you select duplicate and repeat, you have it duplicated right inside the previous object. The difference between duplicate and the paste is, with the duplicate, the icons are overlaid against themselves, but with the paste, they are laid in relation to themselves. For example, if I select this and choose duplicate, it's actually duplicated, but you can't see it because it's been overlaid on the other one, except I drag it out. But if I use the copy and then I choose paste, you can see it stays in relation separate from the other one. Alright, so also you can delete with the delete icon, delete an object or item off the workplane, or you can undo and redo an item that has been taken away to correct a mistake or to redo an action that has been taken before. Also, you can align objects using the alignment tool. So I'm going to select two objects. To align, select one object, hold the control button and select another object. So hold your mouse and drag it over it. So I have two objects selected now. So when two objects are selected, I can either merge these objects together by grouping them so they become one object, and then I can also use the ungroup tool to ungroup them to make them separate. So now I have two separate objects against themselves. And that's not all. There are other menus right here. Now we have the Import 3D Files menu. Now when you select the Import 3D Files menu, you're able to import an existing TinkerCAD project into your TinkerCAD workplane. And the formats you can import are .stl, .obj, .svg, and the file should not be more than 25 megabytes. And when you choose the export, with the export, you're able to export your object in 3D printable format. You can choose .obj, .stl, or .glb. Or you can print directly to your printer if you have a printer connected to your computer. And then we have the send to. The difference between the send to and the export is the export sends it out in 3D printable format, while the send to sends it out in either PNG or JPEG, picture or image format. So you can choose whichever works best for your design. Alright, so this is the TinkerCAD 3D interface. Now one more thing we need to explore is align objects on the workplane. To move an object around in the workplane, it has 3 points. It has the x-axis, the y-axis, and the z-axis. Now to move an item up or down, you need to select the triangle icon. So hold the triangle icon and raise it up to move the item up, or push it down to move the item down. Alright, you can also set the width, the height, and the depth because they are 3D objects. So to select the width, height of this object, ensure you have any anchor points. These are called anchor points. Ensure any of the anchor points are selected, and then you can adjust accordingly. You can either adjust by moving the anchor points, or you can adjust them based on a number ratio. For example, I have 30 here. If you select 30, you can change the number to whatever number you want, and it will automatically apply it. So I can select this anchor point and then edit this number. Also, you can rotate this object at different angles. When you have this rotate curved arrow selected, you can move your object at 360 degrees angle like a clock. And if you have the upper one here selected, you can move it around in circle about its axis. So to move it around about its axis, you need to ensure that the top arrow here is selected. And then to move it around in 360 degrees rather, you have to ensure that the side arrow, which is this one, is selected. Alright, so that is that about the TinkerCAD interface. Now in the next lesson, we'll be creating our first project with TinkerCAD 3D modeling interface. So let's assess our knowledge and see what we have learned so far. What is the function of the zoom plus icon? To view and rotate your design in 3D view, which icon should be used? Dash button allows you to take your work to a previous state before you modified it. Which area is referred to as the work plane? Which icon is used for downloading 3D designed models in different 3D printable formats? So you can go back through this course and assess your knowledge if you were not able to get all the answers correctly. Alright, so thank you and see you in the next class. In the next class, we'll be creating more amazing 3D projects that you can actually print in real life and have to use on your daily activities. I'm so excited to learn about them. Aren't you too? So till then, bye.